Good afternoon, preppers. Welcome to Goshen Prepping. Having the grid go down because of things like an EMP is obviously a concern, and it's actually something I hear about all the time when it comes to emails and messages to the channel. However, an EMP is not the only thing that can cause a grid to go down. A solar storm can do it too. And unfortunately, we're actually heading into a time when solar storms are absolutely on the rise, and this is a real possibility. But first, let's talk about solar storms. What damage could be caused by a massive solar storm? It could short out telecom satellites, radio communications, and, of course, our big fear, power grids, leading to trillions of dollars in damages. And this actually happened once during recorded history. A solar event of a huge magnitude occurred in 1859. It's the largest geomagnetic storm in recorded history, causing the aurorae, which is the northern southern lights, to be visible around the world. But that's not the problem. This massive solar storm also caused damage, triggering telegraph malfunctions, giving operators electrical shocks, and causing some telegraph pylons to suddenly spark and catch fire. And we're talking about during the time when electricity is really just starting to go across the nation. There's barely any telephone poles up, and of course the telephone poles were for telegraphs. And if it actually caused fires to break out with very minimal amount of lines, what could it be like today when we actually have power lines going all across the globe? And so here is the concern. The sun is about to get more active than it has been for decades, and it could lead to power outages, grounding flights, and stunning auroras. The sun is entering a peak of activity that will last several years, lots of solar flares, and powerful bursts of energy, and again can disrupt radio communications and electrical power grids. These so-called solar maximums that we're starting occur roughly every 11 years. And, as far as the past goes, they haven't been a huge problem, except for that time we're talking about the 1800s. But here's the key. Scientists, however, fear that our reliance on electricity and interconnectivity could mean we're far more vulnerable to their effects this time around. Sure, problems with the GPS, or maybe some flights are grounded, or you can see the cool aurora borealis. That'd be awesome. That's not the problem. The problem is if we actually see a huge event that could literally cause fires to break out because of electrical wires, or even cause what looks like an EMP, because these solar storms can't cause EMPs, but the effects can be the same, can absolutely fry your electronics in your house just like an EMP can. That's something we need to prepare for. So just like with an EMP, you need to have things like Faraday cages, keep things isolated from your actual things plugged in, especially during those times when we actually see some solar flares. On a good note, we can usually see the solar flares a couple days ahead of time. I actually monitor a channel that actually watches these things exclusively, but you can't always depend on it, because when they think sometimes it's going to hit Earth, it doesn't, or when they think it's actually going to be really mild, it actually can be more severe. But either way, just like everything else, this is Goshen Prepping. We want to be prepared for all contingencies, and having our electronics protected, or even worse, catastrophically having the power grid go down is something we must prepare for.